Hello guys, Matthew Muswhite here, also known as Crystal Lights Entertainment, and welcome to this unboxing and first impressions of the Pico 4. Almost like Pico Neo 4 because, that's a bit confusing. Now, like everything else, I buy second hand because I think I got best value. Like this, I got this for £240 and it's like $359 for a Pico 4. This is the 128GB model. You might notice that this box has already been opened. That's because there's also this hole here from shipping, this dent white here, and I couldn't tell from putting my finger, because I did, if it came with it in its original box or not, because some of my items, I've actually looked at it briefly, one of the items that doesn't list to have the original boxes came with the original boxes. So I was like, you know, I would like to see if this has it, so I opened it and found it doesn't. Wow, you already still stuck up again. There you go. This video is a bit more heavy, emphasize on first impressions and how I set it up for my computer, but I thought, you know, while I'm at it, I might as well do like an unboxing of it. I bought this from CEX, obviously second hand, and you might be wondering why I bought it, because I have arguably a much better headset, the Valve Index, which I bought also from CEX about a year, 2 years ago. And the answer to that is, as much as I love my Index, and I love the Index controllers, also known as the Knuckles controllers, quite frankly, I've had nothing but problems with comfort and, more importantly, eye strain. Now, I can't use the headset more than maybe 10 minutes before I have to take it off because my eyes hurt. And you can see this in a lot of my live streams I've used the Index on. The Half-Life 2 VR immediately comes to mind. Whenever I try to use it, I just can't for very long, and it's actually gotten to the point where it really has infuriated me. And with the Pico 4 being part of the next generation, so better optics, better screens, more slimmer, more comfortable, I have naturally chose to go with it. So take out the headset first of all from that. That was a bit dusty, but second hand. But first we're going to look at the controllers. Now the controllers themselves I'm not going to use. I'm still going to use the Knuckles controllers. It is only going to be used for PCVR. This thing does have capabilities to be used as standalone. I won't be doing that. That's not why I bought it, but it does have that capability. But because of that, outside of setting up, I don't foresee using these controllers. I might talk because I like having the individual finger tracking, which will be good for mocap, because I want to do mocap at some point. But you know, if I start my rambling, we can go remotely what this video is advertised, what it is. We have a look at the controllers. Now the controllers themselves, it's got this kind of nice, I would like to say, face on the grips, kind of this textured feel, plastic, which feels quite nice. It's been a while since I've gotten up, but that feels pretty good. So there's for the left and right controller, so like there's like the front of one, there's the side if it exposes correctly, which I don't think it is. I think it's too bright. The trigger there, which, yeah, that might be a better way to say it, but pretty nice. I like the feel of them, I'm not gonna lie. The buttons feel pretty nice, but again, as I said, if I can keep this thing in virtual desktop, then I won't really need it at all, but they're very nice, not gonna lie. Don't know where the hand straps are for it. That should have been included. It's pretty naughty of CEX for not to include that, because that is actually a very, arguably quite vital component to have for VR handsets. But we also get a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, very short for charging, but even then it won't reach where I want it. And then we have a regional, compatible Type-C charge. That's a Type-C. I don't know if this does. They're giving me a one cable to use this thing. I think that's pretty unacceptable. And then here's the headset itself. So like the Index, it does have this thing, so you can adjust it. I have to adjust it accordingly. I'm going to take the sticker off because that's right on the stupid dial. But here we see the front of the unit, which is highly reflective. You can see the camera high. On this side, you'll see the USB Type-C adapter, so we'll be using that along with some other bits and bobs to get it connected. Then we have over here will be where the speakers are for the hearing. No wait, it's over there, beg your pardon. It's like don't know if I will be able, you might be able to see it right there. That's on each side is where the headpiece is going to be. You can also see at the front, as you saw, there's like 4 cameras for the inside-out tracking. So luckily, I don't need to put a third set of sensors because I got the ones for the with CV1, the index, you know, lighthouse controller. So like that, I don't have to put in another one. That's pretty nice. And here's like the back, which has like the dial sort of thing, which has got this stupid stick on it. That's a very interesting space for it, and as well as the logo right there. Now this will require a TikTok account because the same company that produces it has been bought out by the company that has TikTok. And honestly, it was either this or the Quest, but out of the 2 companies, which is Meta / Facebook and TikTok, I don't really trust either of my data, but TikTok I think I trust more with my data than I do with Facebook. So that's probably why I went with this, because they're the lesser of 2 evils when it comes to data privacy. Jeez, that's reflective. I can see myself upside down in it. But in here is also where the lenses are, along with a sensor to tell if it, you know, if someone's wearing it or not. And also here is a microphone. You might have noticed there is no slider for the IPD. That's because it's motorized. This doesn't do eye tracking, but it is motorized, so you can do it like that. So hopefully that means it will stay in place when I set it. And I have actually tried on the index to get my IPD right, and I think according to a app on my iPhone, it's 62.5 millimeters. No, 62.3, beg your pardon. No matter what I do, I can't get it right or the side strain, so hopefully this will solve that. So that's where we're going to end this part of the video. So I gotta wait for one more component to see so I can connect it up to my computer, because again this should be using for PCVR only. But yeah, I'll wait until like the last component comes in, and then we can actually get to setting this up, which I'm looking forward to, and can get my first impressions. So I'll see you in a couple of days, because it's going to take a couple of days for the last thing to come in. So it has been a few days since I unboxed the headset, and finally the last part I was waiting for has arrived. So that means it's time to disconnect the index from my workstation. Doing so was easy enough, and it has now freed some of the USB 3 bus, so that should make my other connected devices, most notably my capture box, behave better. Now on to quote unquote deploying the Pico 4. To connect the headset to my setup, I first used this 3-meter wide-angled USB Type-C to Type-C cable by Ugreen. It is also braided, which is good and should help with the resiliency. On the other end, I'm using a female-to-female adapter and this built-in USB Type-C to Ethernet dongle to act as a breakout box. I chose this specific dongle as it also has a Type-C plug for power along with Ethernet. It's also from a brand I've dealt with in the past, so I trust it more than some of the other alternatives found on Amazon. So after plugging in both cables into the dongle, I got to work to route the Ethernet cable in particular into my network switch. Luckily, I had one port left, but it was a pain to plug it into that. The USB cable just directly plugged into my 5-port power extension. So fun fact. After some troubleshooting on why it wasn't getting internet access when the Wi-Fi was disabled, I discovered the Belkin adapter straight up isn't detected by the Pico. It doesn't even pass through the power to the headset. So instead I'm using this dongle I bought for the Steam Deck way before the dock was even a thing. It's also the exact same one I've had nothing but grief over the time I've used it. I was hoping that since it's not connected to a KVM switch it would make it behave, but I lost connection midway during my test later into the video. So that's a bad omen. Moving on, however, let's talk about software. So I can play my actual PCVR library, I'm going to be using Virtual Desktop as it offers better compression than Pico's built-in tool, and I have better flexibility to fine-tune that compression if I need to. First off, on the headset side, I go to the Pico store and buy the client software for £15. This actually needs to be done on the companion phone app, which I find slightly irritating, but it isn't the end of the world. And with that, I can now download it onto the headset. Now onto New Octane. I reboot into Windows, which I still have specifically because VR on Linux still has a little bit left to be desired. Then I go into Firefox and download the server software and went through the setup to install it. Pretty painless honestly. Now firing up the server software, I typed in both the original ID the Pico assigned to me and the one I changed it to just before launching Virtual Desktop to give me the best chance of connecting. One restart of the client later and I have successfully connected to Neo Octane. Something that didn't actually occur to me originally is that without the index connected, my computer has no way to detect the base stations and by extension the knuckle controllers. They are workarounds, but they are for me expensive. So I guess I will be using the Pico controllers then. But now with everything all set up, let's talk about how it performed while playing my PCVR library. First off is Serious Sam, The Last Hope. As far as first impressions go, it's actually pretty good. I didn't notice any compression artifacts as it looked very crisp. The downgrade from 120Hz to 90 isn't really as noticeable as I thought it may be. While it didn't feel as smooth as the index, it looked smooth. So that's an important thing. The biggest issue I had was actually getting used to the whiff style controller bindings, as I occasionally hit the pause menu when I wanted to change weapons. Premium Bowling is another game I tried. This is where the whiff style controller is actually beneficial, as with the knuckles it would randomly decide to let go mid-swing. With the Pico 4, this is the first time I've ever used the inside-out tracking system, and to say I am impressed is an understatement. Considering how often my hand goes behind my body, the Pico tracked it very well and didn't lose tracking on that hand once. If anything, my poor score was me being conscious that I had no wrist straps and the controllers could easily fly into one of my monitors. The textured plastic on them doesn't do much for grip for me. And finally, I tried CyVeRpunk VR. The game itself I only played for 6 minutes before promptly refunding it as I just didn't like it. However, this really would give a test on how good Virtual Desktop handles dark scenes. And honestly, I didn't notice any artifacts or compression while playing it. It was dark enough that I could easily make out the enemies in the distance. I suppose if I really looked for it, I might be able to find some artifacts. But Virtual Desktop does such a cracking job of compressing and decompressing the stream on their respective ends that under a normal session that I can't really notice it. I could talk about Half-Life Alyx or even Vito VR. Well, you'll probably get the idea that the Pico 4 works pretty well as a tethered VR unit. The visuals are crisp, and the audio is, by my untrained ears, just as good as the index. So yeah, performance is pretty good on PCVR using an Ethernet connection. And if you can find a compatible dongle that does both Ethernet and a Type-C port, I think this may yield better results than a direct USB-C connection. Plus you don't have to worry about a weird blue screen bug if you try to do it that way. For those wondering, I did download a game from the Pico store to try out for you, and I played its free roam feature, and yeah, it looks very good and it's actually one of the better VR games I've tried, besides Vito VR, to use hand controllers to drive a vehicle. But all of this is dancing around the issue of me buying a Pico 4. Does this solve my eye strain issue? And really, no, it hasn't. While going as low as somewhere between 59 and 16mm has increased my ability to play VR for an additional 5 minutes, it was hardly the improvements I was looking for. The IPD can only go up by 0.5 increments, which could be an issue for certain people, but for me I don't think that is the issue here. So in conclusion, while this hasn't solved my issue, I don't think I'll be going back to the index. The increased clarity and field of view from the LCD panels and pancake lenses respectively, the tracking from the inside-out system, and the audio are all very nice upgrades. Comfort is alright, but could be better. But that doesn't change the fact that there's so much I like about this unit. Semi-automatic IPD settings is better than the pure manual controls of the previous gen. You can't accidentally move it out of alignment. The Pico is actually halfway there for automatic IPD adjustments. But yeah, go check it out. It is a good competitor to Meta, and that in itself is a reason to consider this headset. Any competition is good in all honesty. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.